ये महल कर दिया। ये पिछली मर्तबा एक ऑब्जेक्शन हुआ था हिंदुत्व की तरफ से, हिंदू संगठनों की तरफ से, कि ये मुगल टेंट को हटाया जाए और मुगल टेंट का नाम बदला जाए। नतीजा यही हुआ कि इस बार जो मुगल टेंट को जो है सूर्य महल के नाम से बताया जा रहा है। चलिए,
13th generation of Nagara prayers, all the way from Pushkar, Rajasthan. Thank you, Nathuji, and your entire group for blessing us, for blessing all our festivals. Thank you once again. And now, can I please request Managing Director T Book Arts, Sanjoy, to please come on stage and say a few words.
No festival that we start anywhere in the world begins without Nathuji's shanks and the nagaras that he plays to push away all of the evil spirits that sometimes tend to follow us around. Nathuji Solanki. "18 years in the making, the Jaipur Literature Festival has hosted over 8,000 writers from across the world, has had over 5 million people arrive here on ground, and has been viewed or engaged with digitally by over 1 billion people across the 18 years. Today, the festival not just celebrated in Jaipur in Rajasthan, but has moved on to Boulder, Colorado, to Seattle, to New York, to Houston, to North Carolina, to Valladolid in Spain, to Madrid, to London, to Australia, and we hope to have a few more editions in the coming years. None of this would have been possible without the vision of two people who in 1999-2000 came out to the Edinburgh festivals to see what we were doing there. Faith and John Singh. And they immediately spoke with us and said, can we help them? And Faith set up the Jaipur Virasat Heritage Festival, which ran for a few years, within which Namita and William used to do a literature program, and Willie's famous stories about lost Japanese tourists wandering in there by accident. When that festival faced some problems, Faith and William and Namita and we decided that we would take the literature segment of this and create what is now known as the Jaipur Literature Festival. Thank you, Faith, for that vision, for all the work that you put into it, not just Anoki, which was your beautiful brainchild, which continues with Rachel and her colleagues, but everybody else. Thank you so much to Apurv and Timmy for opening up the Clark's Hotel, their hearts and home, for hosting this festival. When we, yes, absolutely, when we had to move from Diggy post-COVID, it was an agreement that we had to be able to increase the size because of our continuing expansion. Apurv said, why don't you look at Clark's? We were already here with the music stage, and as you can see, year on year, they have been expanding the facilities. Today, this year, they have very kindly built yet another venue for us, which you will experience, which is the Surya Mahal, and I hope you all will enjoy the festival. They say when there is darkness around, you need light. You need to focus on that light. Our light is provided by our writers and our speakers from across the world, and all that they put down. It is they who help us make sense of our past, make sense of what's happening presently, and envision perhaps a better future. Today, in the darkness that we see around us, wars that surround us, hatred that we see that's all-consuming, the one thing that we can take solace in is writing and books. Folks like me who are readers more than writers, just sort of imagining the amazing kind of writing that each of these writers put out there is really, it's so fulfilling when you go home and pick up a book and you begin reading it. It transports you to a different part of the world. a different philosophy, a different history. So thank you to all our writers who've traveled from across the world and joined us today at the Jaipur Literature Festival. To tell you a little bit more about the program that we will be unfolding over the next 5 days, please welcome festival co-directors Namita Gokhale and William Dalrymple.
नमस्कार। आज का बड़ा अद्भुत दिन है। आप लोग शायद न जाने या कई लोग जानते भी होंगे कि आज से गुप्त नवरात्रि शुरू है और 2 तारीख को हमारा बसंत पंचमी, सरस्वती पूजा, ये सब सामने आ रही है। ये माघ का भव्य महीना है और साल का वह समय जब दुनिया जयपुर से मिलने आती है और जयपुर दुनिया से मिलता है। पाठक, लेखक, विचारक, कलाकार और परिवर्तनकारी हर साल जनवरी में जयपुर साहित्य महोत्सव में एकत्र होते हैं ताकि साझा कथाओं की शक्ति को प्रस्तुत किया जा सके। इस वर्ष जब महाकुंभ मेले का आयोजन किया जा रहा है, हमारा साहित्य उत्सव पृथ्वी का सबसे बड़ा साहित्य उत्सव समझा जाता है। ये एक अलग तरह का तीर्थ यात्रा है। अनंत विचारों और ध्यान का संगम, शब्दों और अर्थ की खोज के लिए एक केंद्र और एक मंच। हमारे वक्ताओं की बातचीत में 26 से अधिक भाषाओं का प्रयोग किया जाता है, जिनमें 13 अंतर्राष्ट्रीय और 13 भारतीय भाषाएं शामिल हैं। यह एक बहुभाषिक और संगीतमय अनुभव प्रदान करता है। जावेद अख्तर साहब हमारे लिए जादू, ताराधुली और गहरी साहित्यिक अंतर्दृष्टि लाएंगे और ज्ञान शिल्पियों के साथ अतुल तिवारी के साथ कॉन्वर्सेशन में फिर गीतांजलि श्री हैं, यतीन्द्र मिश्र हैं, पुष्पेश पंत हैं, मनीषा कुलश्रेष्ठा हैं, मानव कौल हैं। ऐसे दिग्गज कार्यक्रम को शोभा देंगे। राजस्थान से जुड़े कई सत्र आधुनिक लेखन और क्षेत्र के सांस्कृतिक धरोहर से जुड़े हैं। अंत में कुछ शब्द हैं जो मैं हर साल 18 साल से बोली जा रही हूँ और आपको फिर सुनाऊंगी क्योंकि ये मेरे दिल के बहुत करीब हैं। ये है कि सरस्वती के भंडार की बड़ी अपूर्व बात, ज्यों खर्चे त्यों त्यों बढ़े, बिना बांटे घट जान। बस यही मेरा कहना है। इसी को हम समझते हैं, इसी को हम आगे बढ़ाते हैं। धन्यवाद। अब मैं ज़रा अंग्रेजी में, जो लोग मेरे हम हिंदी का समझ नहीं पाए उनके लिए अपना अंग्रेजी में सुनाती हूँ ज़रा। वी सेलिब्रेट, यहाँ है, ये है कि dear friends, lovers of literature, it is a month of Magh and the time of the year when the world visits Jaipur and Jaipur visits the world. Readers, writers, thinkers, artists, change makers converge every January at the Jaipur Literature Festival to assert the power of shared narratives. In this, the year of the sacred Mahakumbh, our festival, the greatest literary show on earth, is a different sort of pilgrimage. It is a conference of thought and mindfulness, a hub and platform for words and for the search for meaning. The Jaipur Literature Festival is a moving mosaic of books and ideas, conversations and arguments, lots of arguments, explorations, epiphanies. And this year especially, we interrogate the changing realities of this very fractured world and search for inspiration and continue to believe in a better one. Our speakers talk or write in over 26 languages, including 13 international and 13 Indian languages, presenting a sort of a polyphonic orchestra. The inaugural session by Nobel laureate Sir Venki Ramakrishnan discusses bridging the gap between the arts and sciences, something the festival has consistently worked towards. The 5 days of the festival are marked by a rich diversity of themes and content, from poor economics to the young as presented by Nobel laureate Esther Duflo to the medieval mystic Drukpa Kunle from Bhutan and his radical crazy wisdom, from thoughts in theatre to revisiting Gandhi and Tolstoy, to the vision of democracy, equality and the Indian constitution, to the incredible David Walliams reaching out to the child within us all. And then there is the Nobel Peace Prize awardee, Kailash Satyarthi, who has actually tried to reach out for the rights and the futures of young people. We celebrate, and this is important, we celebrate the living heritage of Rajasthan with its unique blend of tradition and cosmopolitanism, presenting things like the sacred scroll traditions of Babuji Ka Phat, and then we talk of the intrepid eco-warriors of the Bishnoi community. There are incredible number of young writers from Jaipur, including some very famous Instagrammers who I hadn't heard of before but now know about, and so will all of you. And Sudha Murthy ji sitting there, such a consistent supporter of our festival. She will be here with her daughter Akshata to present a riveting session together, sharing insights into how and all that they do. Then Nobel laureate Abhijit Banerjee will speak of food, economics and society. Another consistent supporter of our festival has been Shashi Tharoor, who will return with his trademark wit and erudition. There are stellar writers from the EU and a very strong Irish contingent. And 2 Indian writers bring their experiences of Japan to Jaipur. Then Javed Akhtar Saab, another of our what I call Baratis, brings us magic and stardust and deep literary insight. The past beckons and the lessons of history. We go back to the intellectual history of the Nalanda University. We study the old Indian canon and the emerging one. My co-director William Dalrymple tells us of the Golden Road and India's place in the ancient world. At the heart of the Literature Festival is the Jaipur bookmark. I urge all of you to go and take a look at it, to listen in there, because Manisha Chaudhary there gives us behind-the-scene perspective into the world of books and the shared learnings of writers, editors, translators. It runs parallel to the festival and is a hub for publishers from around the world. Now, 18 years into this game, me, my co-director William Dalrymple, and our producer Sanjoy Roy, we surely share a very deep karmic bond. We've stuck together for 18 years. And, well, it's due to all our joint patience. I'm sure each of us individually is quite, and you, the audience, and our love for you and your love for us have held us together. Thank you for being with us. You will enjoy the packed week ahead. And Dhanyavad, Namaskar, Jai Hind. Thank you.
I can't give an opening speech without telling the Japanese story. I would be breaking tradition. On the first year, we were so worried that no one would turn up at our festival that we went frantically around every Delhi bookshop, posting posters, trying to persuade people to put it up on the doors of the bookshop in Khan Market and Bari Sons, hoping that someone would turn up. And halfway through the opening address, it was still about 3/4 empty in the tiny Delhi Diggi Durbar Hall. And then miraculously, people started filing in some number. But we did notice that they looked as if they weren't Indian. They turned out a busload of Japanese tourists had gone to a completely wrong address and were looking for Amer Fort. But filled our hall to overflowing. So even on our first day, we could claim maximum capacity. There are 2 sides to literature and the experience of literature. To read is as private an act as any person can engage in. It's you, the text in front of you, sitting on a sofa or in bed or beside a pool or on a beach or in a study, trying to understand what the writer is offering you. But from the beginning of mankind's story, the public performance of literature is something related but quite different. And this is something that has always been particularly strong in India. From man's first stories told around campfires, to the recitation of the Vedas, mankind's oldest surviving sacred text, being sung while Stonehenge was being built, through to the stories of the bards, recording acts of heroism which in time grew to be the great epics like the Ramayana or the Mahabharata, later on added and changed through to the Hamzanama and stories of the Shahnameh. But this is something that Rajasthan in particular has always specialized in. My wonderful co-director Namita mentioned the Papuji Ki Pad. Many of you here, I suspect, won't know what this is. This is the often 4-day-long recitation of an epic from very much these deserts of Rajasthan, a story of cattle lifting and heroism and rescue and loyalty, and finally death and sacrifice and redemption. These are stories, this and the Gogaji epic, which were written in Rajasthan, which attracted great crowds to listen to them. But literary festivals are not something which are new to India. A few years ago, we had the wonderful Sanskrit scholar Sheldon Pollock coming here. And he told me about something which I'd never heard of before, which was a literary festival in Kalyana in the 9th century, which attracted poets and songs in Sanskrit, Prakrit, and Akrabhasha, the great cosmopolitan language of India's, the Kannada, Gujarati, Awadhi, Bangla, Oriya, all be competing, all on stage together. Then here in Jaipur itself, under Sawai Man Singh, the performance every day at court of poems before the day's work began. So if you want to understand why literary festivals have taken off in India in the way that they have in the last 20 years, we were the first, but there are now about 300 others which have followed in our footsteps. The answer lies that it is something deeply indigenous. It is something which appeals deeply into the heart of every literate and illiterate Indian, the public performance of literature. We bring you this year an unparalleled program. Namita has talked so much about it that I don't want to add any further names, but just to say we've got, I think, 6 Nobel Prize winners with us this year, 11 winners of the Pulitzer Prize, 5 winners of the Booker Prize or shortlisted, the Baillie Gifford, the Sahitya Academy. All the great prizes of the world are represented among our authors. We try to bring you every year the greatest achievement in literature, the new writing, but also to look back at some of the great established classics. It's going to be an extraordinary year, so please enjoy yourselves and let the games begin.
When Punita, my wife, decided that we were to get married, my father-in-law asked me what I did, and I said I do theatre. So he said, no, what's your job? So I said, no, I do theatre. It didn't impress him at all. And then he said, so how are you going to sort of support my daughter? And I said, hey, your daughter is a manager in a firm, she's supporting us. That didn't go down too well either. I decided I had to take my first job. I joined Bobby Bailey and started producing and directing television series. And much later, one of the reasons we set up, Mohit and I set up Teamwork Arts, or Teamwork Films then, was primarily to show that the arts could and can create wealth and value in the same way financial institutions or any other organizations do. Last year, we were very fortunate to join hands with Sanjay and Joe. He set up one of the private banks here, AU Bank, and he then took over some of the investment that the Ambit had made in us about 11 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sanjay Agarwal. Navtej, there's a seat for you right there. It's supposed marked there. And you know, everybody sort of talks about this pain about investments. We're friends, so there's no pain.
So thank you so much. Kamagani, good morning, namaskar. Welcome to my city. Of course, Sanjoy would have given me about me a little bit about it, but I think I should give you 2 minutes brief about me and the entire Jaipur story. So I belong to this city. I born here, build my entire entrepreneurial journey, build bank from here, right? And so this is the one reason I'm standing here. The second, yourself, right? JLF. I think born here 18 years ago, would have imagined that this would happen like this, and I supported Sanjoy for this, that this is the platform which has the freedom of expression, where the idea gets changed, where you can build something from nowhere. It gives you that belief that if something is going wrong in the world, you can discuss, you can debate, you can deliberate and do it, bigger. And second, that I stand for Jaipur, honestly. I stand for something which Jaipur has given me so much. And I'm so incredibly thankful to entire teamwork, our team, that they have created something so big for Jaipur that it recognizes us entire world around. And I also want to do the bank in the same level, but I think me and Sanjoy always have that tough conversation that, is it a cause I'm supporting, or is it a wealth I want to be built here also, right? But that debate is on, but we should have one session here today, right? Whether art can create a wealth or not, I'm happy to participate there. But from my side, my family office side, my team side, wish you all the best for this 5 eventful day. I know you will create new buzz, new ideas, new discussion, new deliberation, and will give us something to really to back on. So thank you so much. Good luck.
Many of you don't know, but since the past 1 week, our authors have been traveling out between Delhi and Jaipur to about 110 schools. It's a program that we do with Pratham Books. These are schools who can't come to us, so we take our writers to them. I think Sudha Murthy and Akshata Murthy and Venki have been to many of these schools, government, not-for-profit schools that have been set up. To be able to put on a festival this size, you can't do it without resources. And Preeta and her team, Preeta, our president of Team Arts,